Hello everyone, this is Waldorf,
And this is Statler.
and today we're going to be talking about the topic of the week.
From Vince Venturella. I can never pronounce his name.
That's why I left that one for you.
Yes. Vince Venturella's topic of the week this week is your first army. And if you go to his YouTube channel, you'll see the whole video. We'll add a link at the bottom. And people commenting, and you'll see...
Or at least you think we'll add a link at the bottom.
We've
said that before.
Well, we'll add it until somebody reminds us that we forgot. And then we'll put it in later. But, hey, because what we do, we forget. We're old.
Yes.
So, who are you?
I think I'm Statler.
Yeah. No.
For Waldorf.
You're Waldorf.
Waldorf today.
Yeah. You're the short one.
Got it.
Yeah. So, anyway, he posted this video talking about his first army that he did for Warhammer. And you'll see other people have posted on his site, and you'll see on the YouTube community some other people have done that too. So we thought we'd do the same thing.
All right. So anyway, what was your first army?
Yeah. So we're going to turn on some eye candy. None of these. Well, one of them might be.
One of them might be my army.
Might sweep in there somewhere along the way. So my first arm. So I started playing Warhammer when GW had it in 3rd edition, but I didn't actually own an army. We used historical figures, and we played it in 15 millimeter with some old orcs and goblins that a buddy of mine had. So
the hordes of these things, or
yes.
whatever those miniatures.
Yes,
Yep.
we played all those different roles, and we tried it. So, and we played off and on, but nothing serious. And it wasn't really until our group got together for 5th edition.
Right.
We all bought the Bretonian and Lizardmen box set.
Correct.
That I really started getting into painting 25s, because I actually had never painted 25s before then. Everything was all 15 millimeter or micro armor scale.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was small. So, and when that happened, we basically split that box set. I took the Lizardmen,
Right.
because I was intimidated and I didn't want to. My first army, I didn't think I could paint 25 millimeter, which were actually heroic 28s.
Right.
And you took the Bretonian.
Took the Bretonian.
And that was my first army.
And I was so intimidated, I shopped it out to get it painted.
Exactly. It took like 4 years to get painted.
And therefore, the first army I owned was not my first army.
Exactly.
Because as you can probably tell by my videos, my first love and still is the orcs, and always has been the orcs and goblins. I got a bunch of, speaking of what did I have, the ghost miniatures from...
You had the ghost miniatures, because I gave you some of them. From Old
Glory. And that was my orc army for the most part.
Right.
But yeah, orcs, I can never get away from orcs and goblins.
Yeah.
I've got several other armies, and
you bought an Empire army later.
I bought an Empire army later.
Which I don't think you've ever played.
Maybe not. I don't think I've ever played that.
Yes,
at least not. Definitely haven't played in a tournament. I played it in smaller games.
It was taken over by someone.
Yes, it was stolen by my son.
Yes.
I did play it. I did play it in a Warbands tournament we had.
Oh, okay.
Not tournament. A Warbands campaign.
Campaign.
We had.
Yes.
I played it several times in that.
Yeah.
Because that was great. You played the Warbands campaign. I would bring 3 or 4 different armies, because you get 3 or 4 games in a night.
Right.
And I would play 2 or 3, maybe even 4 different armies in one night.
Yeah.
Which was quite fun.
And then during 8th edition, you started working on your undead army.
8th edition, my undead came along. My dwarves also happened in 7th.
Oh, I forgot about the dwarves. Yes.
I had dwarves in 7th. And I bought a bunch of the... what were they? The Rapham Wolfen figures, the plastic Wolfen figures. Because I was going to do that for an ogre army. That was my idea.
Right.
That never went anywhere. So they eventually got blended in as my ghasts in my undead army.
Right. I started off with the Sylvan Elves. I'm sorry, with the Saurian Ancients, which were the Lizardmen back then.
Right. And you have a beautiful army of those.
Yeah, but that's why I tell people now, don't buy an army till you played a few games, because I painted a huge army. Back then it was 8,000 points worth of Lizardmen.
That was back when 2,000 points were the game.
Exactly. It was a lot of guys.
Like 3 slan, didn't you?
Yep, 3 slan, three of everything, pretty much. And but I didn't like how the army played. It wasn't fun to me.
Right.
And then that got me... I started painting on one of my favorite armies, which was the Wood Elves. but they took a lot of effort. So I kept getting I diverted to the old Chaos Dwarves.
Okay.
Remember
the big hat guys.
The big hat guys. Remember I painted that unit of Black Orcs.
Correct.
For
them.
To go with them, and so I played that army. That was actually the army I guess I used in 6th edition and the most. I used to take that to the grand tournaments.
Okay.
One of the old Ravening Hordes books.
Mm-hmm.
So while still painting my wood elves, and then eventually I got enough critical mass on my wood elves that I could actually start playing those, and that was a primary army. And then I bought a painted Empire army, which I used a number of times, which then got me diverted in doing Kislev, which became Kislevonia.
Kislevonia.
And I played those with as Bretonnians. Then I at the same time I started, because I had that unit of Black Orcs, and I painted the Orcs and Goblins armies, and I used that a number of times. And I guess that would have been 7th edition.
Well, that's when you had the big units of Boar Boys.
Yes,
a lot of Boar Boys.
I had a lot of Boar Boys.
Black Orcs.
And I had the Black Orcs, and then I got Big Rocky and all that stuff.
That's an awesome model.
Yes, it is. So I always liked the army. It's a fun army, and then I got then I started. I was the last army I painted on.
I don't know who did this army, but they should have at least a decent display board for this.
Yeah, because it's a painted army. I guess
Slacker.
Because around the same time you did your undead, I did mine. That was like the fastest army I ever painted. I think I painted it in 3 months.
The Lizardman?
No, my undead army.
Oh, your undead, yes.
Yeah, which I've only used like twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
I actually took my undead to a tournament, so I did use them a lot. I got, if you remember the quest for skeletons.
Yes.
Because I did not want skeletons. I wanted the easy to paint.
You didn't want to glue them together, but you didn't want metal ones.
But I didn't want metal ones, and I wanted easy to paint. So I found those. What were they? Warlord? What's the name of that?
You had the Warlord ones, yes.
Warlord skeletons, which are kind of the Jason the Argonaut skeletons.
Right.
The naked skeletons. Just
which for us,
bone skeletons
it's a classic
with a big
look.
shield.
Is that Jason the
And
Argonaut
I love
fight.
that look.
Yeah.
And then I got this great deal on them. They came up to 75 cents a model at best. Right. Probably less than that. Got them home. This is going to be great because these are going to be easy. 8 pieces per skeleton.
You had to glue the feet on. That was the best part.
Glue their feet
I thought you were going to have an aneurysm.
Oh, it was so irritating. But that was an army that's the first army I tried the dipping thing with.
Yeah.
And I did those, and I had the Mantic zombies,
right,
which I think are still fantastic models.
Yeah, they are.
And the Mantic zombies, Mantic ghouls, I did them. Did the ghouls in a lighter color than the zombies in a dark.
Right.
Dipped them all, and it was like, wow, this is actually awesome way to churn out
quick armies.
What did I do? 140 zombies.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
140 zombies, 60 ghouls, and 100 and some skeletons. Anyway. I love but again, like you just said, it's an army I wasn't that crazy about.
As interested in, and that's the thing is, I always wanted an undead army, but I finally got around to painting because I know I figured out a way to paint it quickly, and I got it done. But then I've now circled back to the Bretonnian guys instead of using Kislev, actually using Bretonnian figures.
Right.
So.
Yeah, now you're stuck with Equitane.
Yes.
You're in the pain that is Equitane.
Yeah.
And then that is the thing. I mean, I went with orcs. I played orcs for a long time. Went to Equitane or Bretonnia at that time.
Yep.
For a while.
Long time, because that was your primary army for a long time. I did,
and then was it 7th edition or 6th that came around where it was a point and click army. You charged a unit, you hit it, you broke it, you overran.
That was 6th, yeah.
And it was like, okay, I got to stop.
Because no one wanted to play you.
I had to stop playing that army because it was not fun.
It was just too good.
It was not fun for my opponents. It was not fun for me. There was no challenge to it, so I dropped that army for a while, put that army on the shelf. I tried to resurrect it a few times at 8th, and I played it, did a couple of turns. I mean, if you're in the Mid-Atlantic and you've seen me play that army in 8th edition and tournaments there, especially the ones that would use the ETC or the Swiss comp. Where the Bretonnians actually came up and did okay during those.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't think I did play my Empire Army once. Sorry. I took it to a one-day doubles tournament with my son. We both did Empire.
Okay,
We
yeah.
did the doubles Empire.
Oh, that's right. You talked about that. I
Double
remember.
steam
That was
tank.
down
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Carolina.
yeah.
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 Now I remember. Yes.
But anyway, so I
Because I've
think
never seen you use it, but I always see him use it.
and don't forget
Oh,
I
I
had
did.
the Tomb Kings as well. I bought a Tomb Kings army at
Yeah.
one point. Found that.
Oh, yes. I forgot about
Found that real cheap Tomb Kings
Yes.
army.
Excellently painted. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, I've got. What do I have? I have orcs. Then I played Bretonians, and I went dwarves. From there, a Tomb Kings came in for me, and then Empire, which like I said, never played.
Mm-hmm.
Did dwarves, Empire, undead, the vampire counts, and that should be it, right? Am I missing something? No, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So six.
Yeah.
Six
Painted,
armies.
and they're painted armies, so that's all we play. And I have Saurian Ancients.
That's the other thing when you hear us talking. Just to say, we kept saying that you were saying when you got enough to finally run the wood elves and
Yes.
stuff. We've always been kind of
Painting snobs.
Snobbish, if you want to go with that word.
Yes.
We don't like to see unpainted models on the table.
Yep.
Proxies, limited proxies, no, don't want to see unpainted models. That's why when you look at our videos,
I don't mind theme proxies, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to play this as something else today. Yeah, we
for the most part, if you look at our battle reports, you'll see very, very few unpainted models on the table.
if any.
A cable, like occasionally you'll see one where a guy wants to proxy something to practice something, and I'll go
Right.
ahead and play them. But for the most part, those games don't make it. I mean, I will play guys with unpainted armies.
Yeah, I will not.
Yeah. But you're not going to see those on the battle reports because
Right.
I just think that's kind of takes away too much from it.
Yeah, I mean, I play miniatures because
anyway.
of the aesthetic. So, but yeah,
But you were saying you started with Lizardmen.
I started with Lizardmen. And I'll think what I finished first because I bounce back and forth when I'm painting on, and it was Lizardmen, then the Chaos Dwarves, then the Sylvan Elves, then the Empire Army, then the Orcs and Goblins, then Kislev, then the Undead, and now back to redoing all of my Kislev to be Bretonian.
Bretonian.
Yeah.
Equitane, whatever.
Equitane, yeah. Sorry, Equitane.
You've got a lot of Equitane models.
I do. I also have a lot of Sylvan Elf models, but I don't have the right ones painted. I have a whole bunch of those that I've started for units that I never did.
Oh, really?
That came out when 8th edition came, and I don't have any of those painted.
No, okay.
So I have a lot of throwback models. And then heck, unpainted, I still have a Chaos, a Warriors of Dark Gods army. I got a
Oh, that's true. You gave me enough to do a
yes,
Warriors of
and I
Dark
gave
Gods
that,
army.
and I got a Highborn Elves army to do still, or probably 3 because of my figures that I got. I've got a Beast Herds army to do.
Right.
And I have an Ogres army to do, and yeah, so
Well, that reminds me. I also have my Old Glory Ancients, the
Romans.
Romans.
Yes.
That I was going to
That
use
you're
as
gonna do
Empire.
that you were going to do as Empire.
I was,
Yeah.
got the models to do this Roman Empire army.
Yeah.
And never did much with it. We did the search for Cav for a while for them.
Yes. We were looking at the different type of armored cavalry.
But never got around to that.
Clibophorus and Cataphractoi and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so yeah, we've been doing this a long time, and
Yeah.
I said, in my case, the first army was not a wise choice. I mean, it's painted okay, but I just never liked the way it played.
Yes.
And at some point, if I ever get off my tuchus, I'll actually sell it.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sold off a couple pieces, didn't you?
I've sold up a number of pieces of it to people.
To people in our group.
And I've had a couple people that said they were interested in buying it, but they never really came through.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just not my thing from a play style perspective. So, I really said my favorites, Sylvan Elves in Kingdom of Equitane, and then the second tier for me, which is still be fun to play, is Orcs and Goblins because they're just a fun army. Empire on occasion, and the Undead.
Yeah, like I said, Orcs and Goblins.
I do want to get Beast Herd painted at some point because I think it's an easy army to paint, and it can be fun in its own way because it does have a feel right now.
I loved Orcs and Goblins since the first time I played them.
Yeah.
I loved playing my Bretonians back in the day.
Yeah.
When they were kind of, I even liked playing them in 8th.
Yeah.
I like out. I've never even wanted to play a Chaos Warrior army. I don't want to play the army that is, I don't want to call it a point and click army or whatever,
Right.
but I don't want to play the army that's the overpowered, slightly broken army.
Yeah, you just put your guys and just move them forward and nobody can fight you. Yeah.
I'm looking for an army that's fun to play and somewhat of a little bit of a challenge to do it. I usually like the kind of below the top power level army.
Right.
I think, to me, that was a great game. Anyway,
Yeah.
to me, I like winning, but I'm much more interested in having a fun game and playing.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll see that even at the tournaments. I'm just looking to have a fun time for the most part. If I win, I win, but I want an army that I enjoy playing.
yeah, I want to win, but I want it to be put some thought behind it and do something different. And I think that's kind of why I like the armies that I do, because they have somewhat unique. I like what I always liked about Warhammer. I'm a big historicals gamer, but I like even periods that have each army has a different feel to it. So it's about trying to maximize your strengths while hiding your weaknesses and trying to maximize your opponent's weaknesses so you can take them out, and it's something that the different armies do, and it's not just run up to each other and go in the shield walls and smacking each other until somebody wins the fight, and just
yeah. But yeah, I've always loved the big block. I like to see the block of troops.
That's what always attracted me to the game. That's why I got into it in the first place. Was big. I like ranks and flanks, and that's important.
It is. All right.
Yeah,
well,
that's kind of the thing. So thanks to Vince for bringing this up as a topic, and that's our bit for what it's worth.
Nice topic.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for listening. There's some more of my blackworks right there.
There you go. It's your army.
That's not my army.
Oh, it's not. Oh, yes. This is Ben's army. Yeah.
There you go. That's a beautiful army. Anyway,
yes, it is.
I got to stop this.
Exactly.
All day looking.
We're just going to enamor it.
Exactly.
All right. Until the next time.
Until the next time. Thank you for listening.